Today, the moon is in Capricorn. So we have a shift in energy from that moon that's throughout the week went from Libra to Scorpio to Sagittarius, and now in Capricorn, which is an earth sign. And the Capricorn moon through the day today will be forming a grand trine with, so a grand trine is a triangle, a big triangle in the sky with three planets, all in earth signs: Jupiter in Taurus, Venus in Virgo, and the moon going through Capricorn, forming a grand trine with all three planets. And so today I thought we'd talk about how to lay the foundations of happiness. And one of the reasons I want to talk about happiness is because it's a theme of Libra, right? We've talked about peace, we've talked about balance, we've talked about harmony. Libra likes evenness. It wants to be happy. It wants to please. And so happiness is a great theme to bring in. And one of the questions that I had for you earlier this week when the moon was in Scorpio, I believe it was on Monday, October 16th, when I had 3 questions to help you deepen in your self-trust. And one of the questions was, what brings you joy? So I think that this is an important time as we go through this time of shift and transformation and evolution, that it's important to remember what makes us happy, what gives us joy, and how that happiness serves our process of transformation. I'm Marina Ormes here with your Astro Vibe for Friday, October 20th. And so thinking about happiness allows us to ground in what we want, right? What makes us feel good? What makes life worth it? Why we're here, right? Is to feel that feeling of happiness, of peace, of joy. And certainly life brings its share of challenges or growth opportunities. And then we want to also balance that with remembering what makes us feel good and feel happy. Okay, so with that moon in Capricorn, we have the grand trine in Earth. And just as a reminder, Earth energy, Earth, the element in the zodiac, is about the physical world. So it is about physical forms, physical objects, things you can see, taste, touch, hear, feel, physically, tangibly. You can see it, describe it, rotate it, it's there, it's measurable, it's physical. So physicality is a form of manifestation. And the physical things, the objects, the experiences, even that are manifestations, right? They're versions of what we have and what we are creating. So a manifestation of something can be a state of being. And because we're talking during this moon cycle about partnerships and relationships and how to get along and bring about peace and balance, and how justice might be part of that, all Libra themes with this Libra moon cycle that began with the solar eclipse on October 14th in Libra. And so the foundations of what we are manifesting are in a process of transforming, right? So the physical manifestations of things can sometimes change. And physical manifestations include, well, it includes anything. I mean, it's an archetype. It includes anything physical that can be born or die or change, but it also includes states of being, such as agreements about boundaries of where countries are, or putting agreements in place that determine the fate of a people, for example, in terms of what's happening in the world. And it also, though, shows up in the manifestations of your relationships. So what are the agreements you have with other people, spoken or unspoken? How do you need to renegotiate those agreements? And what brings you happiness? So thinking about your agreements, your manifest realities, which are also very connected to the story you tell, right? We've been talking about, if you watch me every day, you know, we've been talking about story and how we tell the narrative with the moon in Sagittarius this week. And so with that story, we have a thing. We have the way that we tell the story, which tends to help something be held in place. So the existence of the experience in a relationship, the existence of the way that we relate to each other, the arguments or the themes that continually show up as challenges, the ways that we don't get along, right? Those are granted, they're not, you know, physical objects, but they're still a way of being that is a manifestation that can change. And so any patterns you have that may show up in your relationship, and we also talked about being the hero of your own journey and how you have responsibility for your part in those patterns. But those patterns can change when we manifest them differently. So we're laying the foundations of happiness by choosing what it is that makes us happy. It's simple and it's very complicated, right? So when we make choices about what takes care of us, what makes us feel good, what pleases us, what makes us have joy and feel happy, when we are making choices about that, then we find out, where is that other person going to interfere with the blissful fantasy that we have of how things should be. And when that interference shows up, then we have an opportunity to work with that other person to say, okay, I thought it was going to be this way. You showed up and reminded me that together we are creating something that is co-created, and here's how I would like to participate in that co-creation so that I can be creating something, the foundations of something that is deeply important to me. In other words, if you need to let go of some surface thing, like, I don't know, having the spoons in the right place in the drawer, or or, you know, who's gonna clean the bathroom, right? So these are the superficial things that show up that irritate us, that we have arguments about, that reflect a deeper pattern. And so that's what I'm talking about, is connecting with what is that deeper pattern. Why do you have those feelings, and what needs to shift there for you to lay the foundation of a deeper place of happiness? So some things to connect with in terms of what is your deeper place of happiness, what gives meaning, value, and truth to your life, what brings you joy. So review the video from Monday, October 16th for those self-trust questions to connect with your deeper truth and remember what's important to you. And then with the Capricorn moon and the grand trine in Earth is a powerful time to put things in place that are laying the foundations to say, I am making this change, or I am going to establish a pattern, or I am going to stop myself from reacting in a certain way when my partner does this thing that irritates me, right? How can you respond differently? How can you change up that pattern by stepping out of it, going outside, or saying, let's talk about this later, or going to find, you know, take care of your self-care needs so that you can come back a little fresher with a little bit more clarity about what you need and what's important to you and what you need to say. So hopefully that's clear enough. As we think about laying the foundations, we're thinking about what it is we are manifesting. And so how you're participating in the ways that things are showing up, if it is a pattern, because those are the things that that show up in relationships, something that's aggravating you. And then how can you lay the foundation to say, here's what's important, here's what's not important. I can let go of who cleans the bathroom, but I'm remembering that I need I need to remind myself regularly that I feel love and that I am loved, and I am choosing to love myself regardless of what somebody else's mood may be or the way they may choose to show love toward me. I'm not going to interpret that as meaning that says I'm not lovable or something like that, right? That's just an example, but as we shift and change those patterns, we can lay that foundation of what gives us happiness. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I am Marina Ormes, and you can book time with me at astrologyheals.com if you are looking for an astrology reading, especially if you are looking for one that is going to help you move through something in your life or get clarity about who you are. I don't give you the answers, but I do give you the tools that help you work with the situations and circumstances that show up in your life so that you can make choices that are more empowering for yourself. And that is how I approach astrology. So astrologyheals.com is where you can book time with me. Thank you so much for being here as we follow this moon cycle and the eclipses and the moon going through the different signs and how we are changing the story of who we are. Thank you so much for your support and for subscribing to this YouTube channel. I am Marina Ormes here with Astrology for Unshakable Self-Care, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.